Here is your ADL room by room guide. Hey, I'm Kimberly, founder of Supporting Autism Mama. Today I'm going to give you a room by room guide of 4 ADLs. It is a room by room guide that's going to go through each room in your home, talk about the ADLs or activities of daily living that are associated with each room in your home and help you to put in systems and help you to overcome those areas of content with you and your children at this. I have 4 children. 2 of them have been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. I built Supporting Autism Mama so that we can help to bridge that gap between the time of diagnosis to adjusting to your new normal. I know how lonely and how overwhelming it feels. I know that we get lots of information from professionals, from teachers, from therapists. I just want to give you a mom to mom or a mom to parent view on how I take all of these things, all of the information from professionals and teachers and therapists, and bring it to life in my home so that you have real life examples of how these things are overcome or how they're not overcome. Here at Supporting Autism Mama, we do not gatekeep our wins. And today that is specifically activities of daily living. Each month over here at Supporting Autism Mama, we have a theme. In the month of July, our theme is ADLs, or how to overcome our activities of daily living and some of the struggles that are associated with that. These include things like bathing, teeth brushing, hair washing, cutting your hair, taking a bath, all things that sometimes our kiddos struggle with more than our neurotypical friends. So today, we're going to dive into that deeper by going through our home, each room at a time, and talking about how we can overcome this area and set this room up for success. So because your time is valuable, let's just jump right in. First, we're going to start with the bedroom. So first, let's think about all of the tasks that are difficult for our children in the bedroom. In the bedroom's typically where we get dressed, where we pick out our clothes, where we some of our chores, where we sleep. And if you have a child on the autism spectrum, you know how difficult sometimes it is to get those kiddos to sleep at night. So let's talk about each of these ADLs and how I have systems in my children's room to help us overcome that. So first, let's talk about getting dressed. There are several different things that go into the task of getting dressed. Getting dressed, if you break it down by task analysis, if you don't know what task analysis are, if you don't know about some of these activities of daily living, make sure to check out my first video of this series, What is an ADL? In this video, we take an ADL and break it down by task analysis. Task analysis is just a fancy way of saying we take getting dressed and break it down into several different steps that it is. Because getting dressed is not just, hey, let's go get dressed. It's going to the bedroom, finding our dresser, opening the dresser, picking out our clothes, putting those clothes on. Are there buttons? Are there zippers? Are there different materials that we need to overcome? There's so much that go into getting dressed. It's not just one task, it's several. So task analysis helps us to break that down to be able to understand maybe which step our child is struggling with, and maybe that's why we can't overcome it. And so one of the systems that I have put into my children's room to help us get dressed in the morning is a visual. On their dressers, there is a little card that has either a shirt, pants, socks, underwear, whatever it may be. This helps with 2 things. It helps my 8-year-old does his own laundry and puts his own laundry away. When he goes to put his own laundry away, he knows where it goes. This was a task that was actually very difficult for him. I didn't realize how simple it was to put the visual on the dresser, and now he puts away his own clothes. Builds his confidence because he's able to do that chore. You can tell how confident he is after he completes that chore. And it's one less thing on my to-do list, so everyone wins. Those visuals are something that allowed him to be able to put away his clothes, so to be able to develop that life skill. For my 7-year-old, he now knows which drawer his t-shirts are in. My 7-year-old is nonverbal and I thought delayed in a lot of different areas. Now he's able to go in his room. He opens up his drawer, picks out a shirt, closes the drawer, opens up the pants, picks out a pair of pants, and hands them to me so that I can help him get dressed. And this was just a very, very small thing that we put into their room to help them get dressed. So I want you to think about other tasks or other systems that you could put into your children's bedroom to help them with getting dressed and make that task easier for them. You could make a visual schedule. Hey, this is a picture of your dresser. You need to open it. You need to pick out your clothes. Now you need to put your clothes on. You need to put your dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper. I love visual schedules. We have them all over our home, and that's something you could just put above their dresser. If they do have buttons or zippers, Are there fine motor activities that you can add throughout your day to help them develop the strength they need for those buttons and their zippers? We have a penguin that has buckles on it. That helps them to, again, get that life skill met because they're able to build that exact fine motor skill that they'll need to button their shirt. Those are their busy boards that have zippers on them. And then if not, if they're still struggling with all that, they do have things called button hooks that you can buy for your kiddos. It's going to help them to be able to get those buttons. Sleep. The biggest thing that we've done for sleep in our home is make our kids' bedroom is where they sleep. That's really the only thing that they do in there. We live in a smaller home, so all three of our boys actually right now share one bedroom. Instead of making them to where they could have separate bedrooms, or at least two of them have a separate bedroom and one of them having their own bedroom, we decided to create a sensory room with the largest room in the house and then have them sleep in a separate room. This has actually been one of the best things that I think we could have done. Having that room where they just sleep makes it so much easier to just sleep in there. They know when we transition into that room now that, hey, it's time to go to bed. The astronaut light is on. It's time for me to calm down. It's time to go to bed. The biggest thing with bedtime too is the routine every night, making sure that they transition well and that our routine is the same. As far as the bedroom, I think our biggest thing to help us sleep at night have been those calming lights. We have an astronaut light in the boys' bedroom that really helps to allow them to know that it's time for bed, and even just on a given day, just helps them to relax and calm down. I like to use essential oils too. Lavender, eucalyptus are all things that help to relax the body. And those things are scents that my children recognize now. My 8-year-old always says, "Did you spray some smelly good stuff on my pillow?" Because he loves the way that it smells when he lays his head down and he knows it's time for bed. Those are just some small, simple things that you can do. Make sure the routine's the same. Make sure that they have visual cues, any type of sensory cue. So they're going to be visual. My children also have that olfactory cue. Hey, I smell the eucalyptus. I smell the lavender. It is almost time for bed. Those cues are going to help them when they do transition into their bedrooms and are able to hopefully go to sleep for the night. If you need other tools to help sleep through the night, Maxwell used a canopy bed for a little bit. It was more of a safety concern at the time. It does zip all the way to help keep them safe. It also provides a sensory experience for them. If any type of light is too much for them, it was pretty dark in there, and he did appreciate that at one point. Also, if you follow me over on Instagram this week, I'll make sure that I provide a short form video of our bedtime routine and of the things that we do to help get the kiddos to sleep at night. So we made it through the bedroom. So now let's move into the bathroom. I have as many accommodations as I can find because the bathroom is such an overwhelming place. So first, let's talk about the tasks that happen in the bathroom. We have hand washing. We have teeth brushing, we have bathing, we have potty training, your hair care. There's so much stuff that happens in the bathroom, which is why I've really made it a focus this year, is to try to get our bathroom as accommodating as it absolutely can be. So a lot of the things that I have for supports in our bathroom are for teeth brushing, hanging on the wall. I have a toothbrush organizer. You break down teeth brushing into a task analysis. One of the first things that your child has to do in order to brush their teeth is to find their toothbrush. And sometimes that's actually very overwhelming for children with autism. They have a difficulty scanning the area and locating what they need. So now that I have that toothbrush organizer, they always know where their toothpaste and their toothbrush is. And they're able to put that toothpaste on now by themselves because all they have to do is push the toothbrush into the toothpaste dispenser and get their toothpaste. That's one support that I've been able to add in the bathroom for teeth brushing that's made it go a little bit smoother. Along with teeth brushing, I have a visual schedule underneath the toothbrush holder that breaks down teeth brushing step by step into a visual schedule so they can prepare and predict for what is going to happen next. Along the lines of a visual schedule, I also have a very specific visual timer for teeth brushing. They push the visual timer and they're supposed to brush their teeth for 2 minutes. Now, full transparency, my kids are not brushing their teeth for 2 minutes yet. My 8-year-old is so sensitive when it comes to his oral motor that he does not eat anything meal replacement shakes. So teeth brushing is very, very, very hard. For us to just brush his teeth for 30 seconds is a humongous win. And so that's what we do for him, is I still brush his teeth, but I brush them. He allows me to brush them for 30 seconds. So we don't use that toothbrush visual timer quite yet, but it'd be a great thing to use if you do have a kiddo that's ready for the next support that I have in our bathroom that really helps our kiddos in there is hand washing. So for hand washing, I've done a couple different things. I bought a step stool that they are able to stand up and be able to reach the sink. I bought those covers that go over the spout that allows the water to come out a little bit further so that they can easily reach. This is not a task they're struggling with. It's very much within their capabilities. I also, again, provide a visual schedule for them for hand washing and a visual timer. Again, specific just for hand washing. You can buy one visual timer, or you can be obsessive compulsive like me and buy a visual timer for every different ADL. But in our bathroom, we do have a visual timer for teeth brushing and then a visual timer for hand washing. And those are just some things that I've been able to provide the boys so that they have all the supports that they need to make those tasks easier on the bathroom. Some of the other supports that I have in the bathroom are for potty training. Potty training will be the death of me. Some of the tools that we have provided in there for potty training are a urinal on the wall if the toilet is too difficult. None of the kids use the urinal at this time, but I could see how it would be very beneficial. So I leave it there because maybe one day, I don't know. We're hoping. We're saying prayers over here. We'll see what happens. I have several different potty seats. So one of the things to think about when you go to potty train, especially our sensory kiddos, is the potty chair is actually a sensory experience, sometimes a negative one. So make sure that you go through several potty chairs until you find the best fit for your child. The one that has worked the best, the one that we have in this video here, this potty chair allows them to step up to the toilet and they're able to sit down. It has a good comfy seat and it just allows them to feel secure because it has the handles on either side. Back of the toilet, I have a social story that talks about going to the bathroom and we read that while they sit on the toilet. I get the visual timer and I set that next to the toilet so that they can visually see how long they need to sit on the toilet. We have these things called fizzies. So we read our fizzy book and then when they do pee in the toilet, they get to throw the fizzy into the toilet and it fizzes and changes the color of the toilet. So kind of like a reward without it being candy. It's a little fizzy that they get to throw into the toilet. And those are all the tools that I've tried to provide and accommodate for my children when it comes to potty training. When I finally figure out potty training, I'll let you know. I'll probably have a party and I'll invite y'all. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Also in the bathroom, though, another place to consider that's very difficult for our children is the bathtub. Showers are still a no-go for my 7 and 8-year-olds. Showers are a little too overwhelming for my kiddos right now, so my 7 and 8-year-olds still take baths. We have visual schedules again right by the bathtub that walks them through the steps of taking a bath. We provide my 7-year-old with microfiber towels. We got over getting into the bathtub, and then after we were getting out of the bathtub, we'd have a meltdown every time. I couldn't figure out what it was until I used one of the baby's towels and dried him off with and realized the towel was just too overstimulating for him. It was too rough. So I just bought him some microfiber towels and that's what he uses now and it works great. Along that same lines was before we did that, we adjusted his scrunchie. Instead of the loofah that's kind of rough sometimes or a rag that can be unpredictable, we use a bath sponge for him. And that seems to work really good. He likes how soft it is and he doesn't have a problem getting in the bathtub now. So that's a great win. Doesn't have a hard time getting in the bathtub now, but that hasn't always been the case. When it was really hard for him to take baths, some of the other things that we did was throw glow sticks in the bathtub, put on calming lights in the bathtub, like the little astronaut light, to just provide a super calming experience when he walked into the bathroom. We would turn off the lights, put in glow sticks, and turn on the calming lights. I use the same bubble bath and I use the same bath salts every night so that the scents were always familiar. I don't change their scents of their bath soap either. I always try to be consistent with that because again, that's something that they're going to get used to. And if we go and make changes on them, then that's something that can also cause a meltdown. So that's something to consider in the bathroom is even just the soap. Are you changing the soap every week to the cheapest one that's on sale? Sometimes just spending that extra $1 can save your sanity. So that's something to think. So I have about 1 million supports that I use in the bathroom. I will put this all in a list. Make a free download that I'll link down below. This will be a list of all of the tools and all the supports that I use in each room of our home so that you have a room by room guide of just tools that you can use. I'll make it a checklist type style so that you can go there and just check off or mark them off. If you're like, okay, maybe this worked for her family, but it's not going to work for mine, just need to mark that off. Something that's you're not quite ready for, again, just mark it off. Like our kiddos with the toothbrushing timer. It's there when we're ready for it, but we're not using it yet because we're not quite Not quite brushing our teeth for 2 minutes, unfortunately. It'll be a freebie that I'll just link down below for you. Room by room guide breakdown, and I'll link that down below, and that will be a free download for you guys. The next one is the kitchen. So something that our kiddos also struggle with a lot, if you have children on the autism spectrum, is eating. And there's a lot of eating that happens in the kitchen, a lot of meal prepping that happens in the kitchen. Some supports that we have in the kitchen/dining room in our home is we have a feeding therapy plate for my kiddo who doesn't eat food and just drinks the shakes so that we can practice feeding therapy every day in our home. We have weighted utensils that are bendable for my 7-year-old who does eat food but isn't feeding himself with utensils yet. That's a support that he has that's going to help him to be able to hopefully one day be able to do that on his own. They're weighted, so they add that extra support, and they're also bendable, so he doesn't have to use as much fine motor skill to be able to get that fork and spoon to his mouth. Make sure to link all of this down below for you. Some other supports that I have in the kitchen are just another little visual cue. Hey, this is where we sit. This is how the utensils are set up if we're ever able to get to that point. I do have that hanging in the kitchen. I'd love one day for my family to be able to sit down and eat a meal at the table. Right now that doesn't happen, but I love to have systems set up to set both of us up for success. It helps me to have a vision for the future, even though we're not doing it right now. Maybe one day we will be. Didn't know that we would ever sleep through the night. My 2 oldest sleep through the night about 75% of the time now. And that in our home is huge. I used to get like 2 or 3 hours of inconsistent sleep a night. Now I get 4 or 5, and that is humongous. It's almost a vision board for me. Sometimes the supports that I put up for my kiddos so that I have something to look forward to, because I know one day we'll be able to get there. We're just not there yet. And so that's something else that I do is I have a visual cue in there of how to set the table, when to sit at the table, and how to help mommy with meals. So one day, maybe I'll have more information for you in this area, so stay tuned for that. The last room by room guide that I just want to talk about is a sensory room or sensory room space. We are blessed now. We do have an area that is a sensory room. It's actually our master bedroom that we have turned into a sensory room. We just sleep in one of the small rooms. Having a sensory room has been a game changer in our home. It helps my children be able to regulate. Before, Maxwell was searching constantly, and I never understood what that meant or understood what that looked like until we set up the sensory room. And now he's meeting milestones and he's trying to communicate more with his AAC device. And I add that all up to having a sensory room that's helping to regulate him and meet his needs, because he's actually regulated and he's grounded now. We did not always have room for a sensory room. I believe everyone has the ability to set up a sensory space in their home. When we had our first home, we had a small little mini trampoline, and that was the sensory space. I put fidgets, I put oil timers below the trampoline. We had a blanket that we would throw over top of the trampoline if we needed it to be more of a calming area, as well as a pillow in there and a little emotions flip book I kept underneath. Trampoline was really good for their vestibular input. And then I kept a little weighted jug with rice next to it for the proprioceptive input. Took up a little corner at the house, but they had the little sensory area. Of course, our sensory room has grown now from really this channel and just learning more about sensory processing and some of the ways that it can help regulate my children, but it wasn't always like that. So start wherever you are. If you can afford a little corner in your house, do it. If you need to put some stuff underneath even a bed throughout the day, but get it out when you need it, then do it. You just accommodate your children as best as you have the ability to do. And that is great. That's a step forward in the right direction. We've gone through the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, and our sensory room, and talked about all the ADLs and all the different tasks that we can overcome in those areas and the different supports that we can offer our children. So now let's talk about how to build them into routines. One of the things I think is very important is to just build these into your natural routine. I don't want you to make any changes yet. I want you to just go about your day and just observe your day. What areas are you having a really hard time in? Where do you need to maybe build a more structured area? Where can you fit in some of these skills where you practice these ADLs naturally? Getting dressed. We're a homeschooling family. We used to not get dressed every morning. And then I realized, hey, we need to work on this task of getting dressed, picking out our own clothes, doing our own laundry. We just need to get up and get dressed every day, even if we're not going anywhere. Even if it's going outside or going to the park, we need to get up, we need to get dressed every day, and we need to be more productive. That was one just small thing that we added to our home was we get up and we get dressed. If you don't have a visual schedule in your home, you can make a daily routine visual schedule. And that's a great thing to add, especially for some of these activities of daily living that your kiddos struggle with. So they know, hey, I need to get up. Hey, I need to get dressed. Now I need to brush my teeth. Now we need to go eat breakfast. Whatever steps that you want that's going to fit naturally into your day, that's something to take into consideration. I will have a download at the end of this episode that's going to provide you with a system of how you can make a natural routine in your home that's going to allow you to meet all of these ADLs naturally. It's going to show you our routine and what we do in our home. And then it's going to allow you to brainstorm and think about how you could fit this into your routine. And then it will give you a blank area so that you can make your own schedule. It will have visual cues. It will have social stories and support so that you have everything that you need in one area to make a fluent routine in your home so that you can get these ADLs met. Sometimes one of the biggest things with meeting our ADLs is one, not having enough practice, like my kiddos getting dressed, but also not having a routine. Our kiddos strive on routine and on structure. And sometimes I feel like the hardest part, at least for my family, was just figuring out how everyone fits into that. Because I don't have just one child. I have 4 children. I have me and my husband who have very inconsistent work schedules because we both work in the medical field. I needed a schedule that worked for our specific family. My goal is that this packet and this download allows you to be able to sit down and really think about that and brainstorm that so that you have all the tools you need to make a functioning schedule in your household. Because that's sometimes one of the hardest barriers to overcome is getting a routine that works so that you can really hone down and work on these ADLs, get your children to be able to master these because it's only going to build their self-confidence, build their self-esteem, and also help you with that burnout that I know that you're feeling right now. In this episode, we went room by room. We talked about all of the ADLs that are associated in each room of our home. We talked about several supports that we can add to those rooms to help our children build those milestones and meet those goals. We've also talked about a system that I've helped put into place for you so that you can hopefully build the correct structure and the correct routine that your family needs to help you get these milestones and these ADLs met. Just another reminder that you don't need to conquer all of these activities of daily living at once. If you're watching this episode, this is the last episode in a 4-part series of overcoming ADLs in our neurodiverse home. We've talked about what an ADL is, how to break it down into task analysis, why it's important for our kiddos to even understand these ADLs. We've met with the founder of the Weighted Cape and talked about how we can overcome haircuts and how that's such a sensory overloaded experience for our kiddos. We've talked about ADLs on the go, are those ADLs that we have to leave the house to perform. Today, we took a room by room guide so that you can figure out all of the ADLs and which room they're associated with. Maybe how you can tailor that room to better accommodate and better support your children and their specific needs. I hope that this month, in the month of July, you've been able to build a structure and really be able to build something that's going to help you and your family thrive. No, for my family, one of the biggest burnout does not come from the loud vocal stems in the middle of Walmart. It does not come from having to use sensory tools out in public. The biggest burnout that for me comes from having to do something for someone 100% of the time. I can get my children to master their ADLs. It's going to not only help them build confidence and develop life skills, but it's also going to help me to be able to help them because I'm not going to feel that burnout that sometimes I'm feeling currently. This is a big goal for us this next homeschooling year is to be able to figure out more systems to be able to get our ADLs conquered. In the month of July, I have made you an ADL breakdown. I have made you several freebies, a social story bundle, natural routine rhythm guide that I talked about today, room by room breakdown. I've made all of these tools for you so that you can download them and be able to build systems in your home that are going to work. We had 4 podcast episodes as well as several short form content videos so that you have all of the tools you need to conquer ADLs. If you are not following me over on Instagram, please hop over there. I am at ASDmama1017. I not only provide daily updates on our lives and how we take all of these things that I talk about on the podcast and implement them into our lives, but at the end of this month, at the end of each month, I also have a giveaway. The giveaway is going to be themed around what theme we're talking about that month. This month, in the month of July, we're talking all about activities of daily living. So our theme for our giveaway this month is activities of daily living. Lots of tools and different things that you can use in your home to help your kiddos overcome these tasks. And something I'm very, very, very excited about. So if you're not following me over on Instagram, please hop over there and give me a follow. If you liked this episode, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you found 2 things useful in this video, please consider sharing it with another mama or subscribing to my channel so that I can continue to provide you content like this regularly. I really hope that I've been able to share some of my experiences and some of the things that we have learned and some of the supports we have found to help you overcome these struggles that are associated with activities of daily living in the month of July. Stay strong out there.